Welcome everyone to the Stargazers channel.
It's great to be back.
And welcome to another deep dive in our series, Best Jobs for Each Zodiac Sign. Today we're focusing on the Chinese zodiac sign of the Ox. We'll look at their traits, potential career paths, and even some astrological tips for success.
The Ox, yes. A really grounded sign.
Definitely. So what are those core traits we see with the Ox?
Well, they're typically very realistic, fair-minded people. Maybe not the most romantic, let's say.
Okay, less about whimsy, more about...
More about incredible organization, persistence. They're super diligent, and they have this knack for simplifying really complex problems.
That's a great skill. Persistent, diligent, simplifying complexity.
Exactly. They can really break things down into manageable steps.
Okay, so with those traits in mind, that realism, that organization, how does that shape the kinds of jobs where an Ox might, really shine?
It's interesting, right? Because that pragmatic side means maybe, just maybe, the highly artistic or romanticized roles aren't always the most natural step.
Not the best fit, perhaps.
Perhaps not. They tend to do better in sectors that really value structure, where specific expertise is key.
And stability, too, I'd guess.
Absolutely. Stable environments are often where they thrive.
Okay, let's unpack that first one. Jobs requiring specific expertise. What's the link there with the Ox personality?
Well, it comes down to their dedication, really. Oxen tend to pour themselves into jobs where their hard work, their specific abilities are actually seen and admired.
So they need that recognition.
It helps fuel them, yeah. And they have this strong sense of responsibility. It means they can handle demanding, complicated tasks, really dig in.
Right, they're not afraid of a challenge if it uses their skills.
Exactly. And achieving that sort of recognition, that mastery, it comes from long-term hard work for them. That brings real self-fulfillment.
I see. It's about that deep investment and mastery over time. Okay, what about the steady jobs aspect you mentioned?
That connects to their need for security. A stable working environment lets them feel their value, their worth. They often link their careers to the public interest or something bigger than just themselves. They like long-term commitment.
And that fits with their responsible nature.
It really does. And often their diligence in school, their studying habits, gives them a solid foundation for these kinds of steady roles later on.
So that early hard work pays dividends.
You could say that, yeah. It sets them up well.
So we have this picture. Responsible, dedicated to mastery, prefers stability. But it can't just be about what fits their skills.
Right.
What about what they actually find? Interesting.
That's a crucial piece of the puzzle.
Absolutely.
Because even with all these great qualities, the Ox needs to be genuinely interested in the work.
Otherwise,
that same as Ox patients might not fully engage. But when a job does spark their interest, wow, their efficiency can just skyrocket.
leading to big results, potentially?
Potentially quite significant results, yes. But flip side, that stubbornness we sometimes hear about, if they find a job fundamentally unappealing, they might just dig their heels in and resist, even if it looks like a perfect fit on paper.
Got it. So that internal motivation, that spark of interest, is non-negotiable for them to really commit.
You need that buy-in from them.
Okay, let's get down to brass tacks. Specific jobs. Based on everything we've discussed, what occupations might be a really good match for the Ox?
All right, well, thinking about their strengths, professions like lawyer come to mind. Fairness, organization, key Ox traits.
Right, makes sense.
Doctor or teacher also align well. That requires dedication, patience, responsibility.
Fields needing focus, too.
Exactly. Things like author, social worker, dedicating themselves to service writer, editor, all require sustained focus and detail.
Okay.
Their sense of duty could lead them to be a government officer or maybe a policeman.
Structure and service again.
Technician is another strong possibility given their diligence and technical aptitude. Even politics sometimes, for those focused on stability and public good.
Politics, interesting.
And then, more generally, roles like office clerk or consultant tap into that need for organization and a methodical approach.
That's quite a list, but you can definitely see the common threads running through the fairness, the structure, the dedication.
Precisely.
So beyond finding the right field, are there astrological tips specifically for the Ox to kind of boost their good fortune at work?
Yes, definitely. One key thing, because they can be so head down focused on the work itself.
Right, just getting it done.
Exactly. It's really important for Ox individuals to proactively communicate their successes, their hard work, to their bosses or superiors.
So don't just assume people notice.
Don't assume. No, They need to show their capacity, show they're ready and willing to take on more challenging things, make sure they're seen.
So a bit of self-advocacy is needed alongside the diligence.
A healthy dose, yes. And another point related to that stubborn streak.
Okay.
While strong convictions are good, the advice is usually to be mindful of not becoming overly stubborn or too self-assertive in professional settings.
Find that balance.
Find the balance. Exactly. Be confident, but stay open. Communicate effectively so ideas land well.
That's really useful advice. Making sure their hard work actually gets noticed and isn't hindered by maybe being too rigid or too quiet.
That sums it up well.
Now, quickly, what about teamwork? Any signs that are particularly good working partners for an ox?
Astrologically, yeah, we often look at the rat, the rooster, and the snake as being the best working partners.
Rat, rooster, snake.
Okay. There's often good synergy there, complementary skills. An ox can usually work pretty well with any of those three.
Good to know for team dynamics. Now, something listeners always enjoy, any famous examples of people born under the year of the ox?
Well, pinning down exact years for historical figures takes deep dives, but you can think about the qualities.
Okay, like what?
Like that determination, the strong work ethic, reliability, that grounded nature. You see these traits in many leaders who showed unwavering resolve,
Steady hands in tough times.
Exactly. Or scientists, artists, thinkers who dedicated years, just pure perseverance to master their craft.
Right, that long-term commitment again.
Yeah. Think of people known for consistent effort and really significant, long-lasting achievements. Those often reflect ox characteristics.
That's a great way to think about it, looking for the pattern of those traits and notable figures. Well, this has been another fascinating look into the Chinese zodiac.
Focusing on the ox today, yeah.
Really understanding their characteristics, how they might fit into different careers, and those helpful astrological tips.
Absolutely. And hopefully for you listening, especially if you're an ox, understanding these insights can offer a framework, maybe help align your choices with your natural strength.
Which, as we discussed, could potentially lead to more success and fulfillment in your work life.
It certainly could.
And for anyone who found this really intriguing and wants to explore their own unique astrological chart in more detail, remember there's a link in the description below for personalized readings. Thank you so much for joining us today on The Stargazers for this deep dive into the steadfast and capable ox.
Thanks for tuning in.
We're really looking forward to sharing our next zodiac exploration with you.